Moo. I tried to let you go, but I couldn't control myself. So accept your fate. In this life, you can only be mine, bound to me for the rest of your days. If you can't love me, then hate me. I'll repay you with my life and everything I have. Later, he sentenced this 12-year-long relationship to death, ending it in the most extreme way, by ending his own life. Bai died in the year he loved me the most. I was reborn 8 years ago, on the day I tried to escape but was caught by Bai and taken to get our marriage certificate. This time, I will hold on to you tightly. The suffocating sensation from my body made me involuntarily open my mouth to take a deep breath. Opening my eyes, I saw that familiar gaze, full of adoration and obsession. I uncontrollably reached out to touch the brows and eyes I once hated and feared so much. The owner of those brows and eyes had a tense jawline, a low, hoarse voice tinged with restraint. Moo. I tried to let you go, but I couldn't control myself. So, accept your fate. In this life, you can only be mine, bound to me for the rest of your days. If you can't love me, then hate me. I will compensate you with my life and everything I have. Hearing this familiar, forceful yet helpless confession again, tears streamed down from the corners of my eyes. It's true. After half a year, I once again touched the living Bai. No longer just a cold, lifeless photograph. Reborn 8 years ago, on the day I tried to escape and was caught by Bai, who took me to get our marriage certificate. Whether it's a dream or a rebirth, I must seize the opportunity to love him well this time. The heavens must have found it unbearable to watch, so they gave me this chance to make amends. In my memory, on this day, we failed to get our marriage certificate as we had hoped. I took advantage of the moment when the driver was waiting at a red light, opened the car door, and fled. The moment a white car running a red light crashed straight into me, Bai rushed over and pushed me out of the way. That car accident nearly took Bai's life. At the time, I even had the malicious thought of letting Bai just lie there, never waking up. Then, burdened by guilt, I prayed for Bai to wake up. After all, this person, now lying motionless on the hospital bed with tubes all over, was in that state because of saving me. Fortunately, after 6 months of treatment by a world-class medical team, Bai finally managed to pull through and was transferred to a regular ward. But Bai, the proud and privileged heir of the family, would never walk again. When the doctor regretfully announced this news, I was deeply impressed by Bai's reaction. He was very calm, as if the doctor had announced something unworthy of his concern. Bai only gazed at me, anxiety threading through his voice. Moo, I'll never be able to walk again. Will you despise me? I had imagined all of Bai's possible reactions upon waking up and learning the devastating news that he would never stand again. Anger, regret, anything but this reaction. After all, someone so proud and arrogant would never again be able to experience the extreme sports he loved. Racing, skiing, surfing, skydiving. At this moment, I actually felt a pang of sympathy for this man. I shook my head without hesitation. Upon seeing this, Bai actually smiled. A smile that seemed to say that as long as I didn't mind, he could forgive the whole world. Over the next 3 months, the medical team helped Bai recover as much as his injuries allowed. I thought Bai would continue to pressure me into getting the marriage certificate. But Bai had changed. All he asked was that I remain by his side at all times. Other than that, he did not engage in any other improper behavior. Even when he held me in his arms at night, he only embraced me gently and lightly kissed my forehead. Over the next 7 years, Bai kept me close and personally taught me how to handle the company's affairs. He introduced me to all of his business contacts. Such a strange relationship. We've been in it for 7 years. On Bai's 30th birthday, he casually smiled and tested the waters. Moo, would you be willing to marry me? I remained silent. I've always felt that our current relationship is just fine, and I don't want to break it. Bai let out a soft laugh. Still making things so difficult for me. Then I'll wait a little longer. Ever since Bai woke up, his obsession with me didn't seem as intense as it was at the very beginning. Over the past 7 years, this feeling of mine has become increasingly evident. Perhaps one day, Mu Bai's obsession will simply fade away. But Mu Bai's gaze still burned with adoration and obsession. I feared the way Mu Bai looked at me, like an abyss drawing me closer only to swallow me whole. In my haste to look away, I failed to catch the trace of reluctance and resolve in Mu Bai's eyes. In the days that followed, I asked myself countless times, if I had known about Mu Bai's choices later, would I have agreed to him back then? The man's helpless sigh pulled me back from my swirling thoughts. Mu Bai gently wiped the tears from the corner of my eyes. His voice tinged with helplessness and affection. Mumu, is being with me really that much of a grievance? I shook my head frantically. Then, thinking of something, I spoke urgently. No grievance at all. Where's the wedding ring you prepared? Aren't you going to put it on for me? Upon hearing this, Mu Bai paused in his wiping motion. A rapid succession of expressions, surprise, disbelief, doubt, delight, and fervor, flashing across his face. But he suppressed and concealed them all well. He hadn't misheard. I had voluntarily asked him for a wedding ring. He couldn't lose his composure, it would frighten me. With trembling fingers, Mu Bai took an exquisite box from the pocket of his white suit. The large, well-defined hand had prominent veins, revealing that its owner was barely restraining himself at this moment. I looked at the wedding ring, crafted for me but never given the chance to be worn on my hand, the one and only ring of its kind in the world. I extended my left hand, signaling to Mu Bai to put it on for me. Fortunately, there was still a chance to make things right. This time, I will no longer run away from Mu Bai's feelings, nor avoid my own emotions. Mu Bai is not scary, he just loves me. At T University's welcome party, I dressed in a red outfit and won cheers from the students with a graceful and elegant classical solo dance. A pair of burning eyes from the audience kept staring at me. At this moment, I still didn't realize that I had already stepped into someone's heart, and it would be hard to escape. Yun Xiao glanced at the young man beside him. Mu Bai had seemed bored at first, but now he watched the girl on stage with the hungry focus of a wolf. Yun Xiao teased, "Wow, she's incredible. Mu Bai, have you fallen for her?" Only when the person on stage finished their performance and stepped down did Mu Bai reluctantly look away. His eyes were dark and menacing, fixed unblinkingly on Yun Xiao. His sinister tone carried a strong warning. "She's mine. If I catch you looking at her with that disgusting gaze again, you won't need your eyes anymore." Yun Xiao recoiled, stunned. It had been a long time since he had seen Mu Bai look so terrifying. Yun Xiao immediately backed down. "I wouldn't dare. I'll treat the future Mrs. Mu with nothing but respect." Clearly, the words future Mrs. Mu pleased Mu Bai. He gave a satisfied hum and let the matter drop. The purpose of tonight's visit had been achieved, but now he felt a hint of regret. He should have hidden me away instead of letting those disgusting men see my beauty. I am destined to belong to him. Originally, he wanted to take things step by step, not wanting to scare me, but I seem to attract too much attention. With this thought, Mu Bai left his seat and walked backstage. At that moment, I had just stepped off the stage, grabbed my phone and bag, and was about to leave after greeting the senior student in charge of the stage performance. As I walked out of the backstage door, I saw Mu Bai waiting at the entrance. Without giving it much thought, I assumed he was there to pick someone up and deliberately walked around him. But Mu Bai grabbed my wrist with his strong hand. I turned my head in confusion, my dark eyes flickering with doubt. Mu Bai took off his thin jacket and draped it over me. "It's cold at night. Consider this my repayment for the band-aid you gave me a few days ago." He was left in only a tight black vest, outlining his well-built physique, wearing the jacket still warm from the boy's body heat. My eyes swept over his impressive figure, and my ears couldn't help but turn red. I opened my mouth nervously. "Classmate Mu, you're too kind." I didn't want to have too much involvement with the boy in front of me. The two of us met for the first time on the basketball court, out of kindness. I gave Mu Bai a band-aid for the scrape he got while playing, but I was startled by Mu Bai's unabashed scrutiny and his aggressive gaze. Just as I was about to take off the coat and return it to him, I saw the unyielding look in the boy's eyes and had no choice but to compromise. Saying, "Thank you," Mu Bai casually took hold of my right hand. curiously rubbing and playing with it. How can it be so soft? As if it has no bones. And it smells so nice, I really want to take a bite. Sensing my cautious attempt to pull my hand away, Bai lifted his captivating eyes. Thick lashes shading his dark pupils. Moo, I like you. Be my girlfriend. Even our names are pronounced the same. Doesn't that prove we belong together? I felt my cheeks flush at the boy's seductive voice, wanting to pull my hand back. But Bai held it too tightly for me to free it. Bai's words just now reminded me of the second time we formally met. We were both in the artificial intelligence program under the computer science department, though not in the same class. During our first major course of the semester, the elderly professor called the roll with a solemn expression. Bai, and I answered at the same time. The difference between the male and female voices was obvious, and whispers arose in the classroom. The professor pushed his glasses up his nose and studied the roster for a moment. Then his expression eased. It seems we have two students whose names are both pronounced Bai, though they're written differently. What a coincidence. Bai looked at me with deep meaning in his eyes. When I caught his intense gaze, I was so frightened that I quickly looked away. For some reason, ever since I felt that aggressive look from Bai on the basketball court, I've been very afraid of him. The professor's remark drew a ripple of laughter, easing the tension in the room. For a moment, the professor did not seem nearly as rigid as the rumor suggested. Later, when a student who had earned a final grade of 59 begged him for leniency and was told to retake the course, everyone finally understood why he had such a strict reputation. Of course, that was all in the future. Bai patiently explained. I'm sorry, classmate but I'm already engaged. Chen and I grew up together as childhood sweethearts. When I was 10, my parents' plane crashed during a trip, leaving me alone at school. Our next-door neighbor, Chen's father, took me in and helped me handle my family's funeral arrangements. After the college entrance exam, Chen finally confessed his feelings. We became a couple and soon got engaged. However, the two still followed their own wishes and applied to T University and S University respectively. Although they were in different cities, the two agreed to visit each other's city on weekends whenever they were free. Bai spoke lazily. It's fine. Just call off the engagement. If you're too embarrassed to say it, I'll help you talk to him. Chen from S University, right? I was shocked by Bai's words. This person truly had a deep background, just as the rumors said. In such a short time since school started, you not only know that my fiancé is Chen, but also that Chen is at S University. Given the other party's background, I didn't want to offend them. I pondered my words and politely declined, saying, no, Chen and I have a great relationship. Classmate you will find a girl more suitable for you than me. Bai frowned slightly in displeasure upon hearing this. He forcefully wrapped his arm around my waist and whispered ambiguously in my ear. TSK, but my heart and my body are only interested in you. What should I do? The scalding droplets on my face pulled me back to reality. Bai was crying. After slipping the wedding ring onto my ring finger, he buried his head in the crook of my neck, sobbing uncontrollably. He couldn't believe that this day had finally come. Bai stared at me with red-rimmed eyes, looking both pitiful and alluring, his voice soft and pleading. I'll learn to control my possessiveness. I won't hurt you. Please don't be afraid of me. Don't leave me. Don't abandon me. In the future, if I make you angry, I'll be the first to soften and give in. Except for leaving me, I'll go along with anything else. You're the one in charge of our home, and everything is up to you. I gently wiped away the barely formed tears from the corners of his eyes, my heart aching for him. The two of us, I had barely managed to hold back my tears, and then Bai started crying again. I took the initiative to lift my head and kiss Bai's reddened brows and eyes. Bai was suddenly stunned. This seemed to be the first time I had taken the initiative to kiss him. I cupped Bai's handsome face, looking serious. Bai, you're fine. You don't have to hold back. If I feel uncomfortable, I'll tell you. Bai, like a beast unleashed, pressed his thin lips down fiercely. And I responded in kind. I had never experienced such an intense, passionate kiss before. Mubai's love for me was intense yet restrained. I was unwilling and resisted intimate contact, so Mubai knew when to stop. The desires he had suppressed for 5 years burst out like a beast escaping its cage. Impossible to lock up again. Only when the car stopped outside the marriage registration office did Mubai finally release me. My eyes were unfocused and my lips still tingled from his kisses. Smiling cheerfully, "Can you still walk? Do you want me to carry you down?" Though he asked, he didn't give me a chance to refuse before Mubai carried me out of the car. Only when we got near the lobby did he put me down. Mubai took out the pre-prepared documents for the two of us and meticulously filled in the detailed information. I looked at the obedient young man before me, feeling quite satisfied as I thought to myself, what a rare sight, once you smooth his feathers. He's actually quite well behaved. In the past, I failed to see the true nature of our relationship and couldn't let go of my stubbornness. I kept resisting and refused to accept Mubai's passionate love. This caused both of us to suffer for a lifetime, cutting short our brief existence. In his past life, after being rejected once again without any surprise, Mubai sentenced this 12-year-long relationship to death. In the most extreme way, by ending his own life. Yes, Mubai died. In the year he loved me the most. On his 30th birthday, he scheduled an appointment for the next day to go to Switzerland for euthanasia. The days he spent in Switzerland were agonizing. Countless times he opened his phone, the screen filled with calls and messages, but not a single one came from the person he longed for. Before the euthanasia was administered, Mubai took one last, lingering look at his phone's wallpaper. It was a photo he had secretly taken, in which I was smiling happily and looking beautiful. He traced the outline of me in the photo over and over again, as if determined to etch me completely into his bones and blood. After hearing the doctor's whisper, Mubai opened the chat interface and sent one last message. "Mumu, I'm setting you free. But don't let me find you, or else you'll never be able to leave again." After sending the message, Mubai stared at the two words "thank you," and tugged at the corner of his mouth with a bitter, self-mocking smile. He can't let go of me, unless he dies. His body has also been deteriorating day by day over these 7 years. The muscles in his legs have atrophied, not to a terrifying extent, but he doesn't want me to see himself growing uglier. Besides, he has taught me everything he could, ensuring that I will have no worries for the rest of my life. The only thing missing is the freedom I desire most. So he chose to die himself, to set me free, to let go of himself, and to let go of me. Without him, I should be living a very happy life. With this thought in mind, Mubai peacefully accepted euthanasia. One night half a year later, in a small inn in a southern town, I received a message on my phone from an unfamiliar number. "Have you been happy these past 6 months since Mubai died?" The moment I saw it, an inexplicable pang of pain struck my heart. Immediately, I grumbled in annoyance. Who's the lunatic sending such a boring fake message in the middle of the night? But then, I found myself distracted, my mind completely occupied by that fake message. After breaking 3 bowls, I gave up resisting my true thoughts. I quickly returned to the bedroom, picked up my phone, found that unfamiliar number, and dialed it. I barely suppressed the discomfort brought on by my violently pounding heart, hoping for confirmation that this was just a boring joke. "Sorry, the number you dialed is not in service. Please check and dial again." The phone slipped from my hand, and a mist quickly gathered in my eyes. That night was the longest darkness I had ever endured. Just as dawn broke, I finally grabbed my phone and ID, got in the car, and rushed to the airport. I flew back to City T in a daze, willingly showing up right under Mubai's nose. But even after I reached the foot of the Mu Group building, I still didn't see Mubai. Given Mubai's possessiveness over me, if he were fine, I would have seen that enchanting, sinister face the moment I landed in City T. No, not even a similar figure in sight. Soon, a person appeared before me, but it was a beautiful lady. She handed me the bag with a gentle demeanor. "Miss Mu, I am Mr. Feng's secretary. Mr. Feng knew you were coming and specifically instructed me to give you the contents of this bag. As for meeting, Mr. Fong said it won't be necessary. My fingers trembled as I took the bag. My voice firm yet tinged with confusion. Mr. Fong. Fong Yu. The beautiful lady smiled and nodded. Fong Yu used to be Mu Bai's most capable partner. Why is he the one managing the Mu family now? What about Mu Bai? Did something really happen to him? I stared blankly at the bag in my hand, my face pale as I thanked her. I took a taxi back to the apartment where I used to live with Mu Bai. Looking at the dusty house, a sense of foreboding rose in my heart. Has Mu Bai never come here either? I, who have always been a clean freak, now sat without a second thought on the dust-covered sofa. I opened the bag and found a thick notebook inside. With trembling hands, I turned to the first page. September 10, 2024. Today I met the woman destined to become my wife, the best thing that has happened to me in 18 years. The moment I saw her, I knew that one day, I would marry her. When I was going for the ball, I deliberately fell in front of her. She immediately nervously took out a wet wipe to clean my wound and even put a very cute band-aid on me. For the first time in my life, I had something so adorable on me. I don't know if the emotions in my eyes were too obvious, but it seemed to scare my wife. She looked really afraid of me. Oh no, wife. I can be very well behaved. Don't be afraid of me. There's another piece of bad news. My wife has a fiancé. My wife can only be mine. My fingers trembled as I turned to the next page. September 11, 2024. I've lived this long and took a cold shower for the first time early in the morning, truly worthy of my wife. The moment she appeared, I immediately felt normal again. In the past, I always bragged to my buddies, just talking nonsense. It was really boring. I skipped mandatory freshman military training again today, but I hid nearby and watched my wife for a long time. My wife looked adorable standing at attention during the drill. I wanted so badly to hug her. During marching practice today, she got nervous and moved the same arm and leg together. She was so adorable I could hardly stand it, but she's so smart. She corrected herself before the instructor even had to remind her. I kept reading page after page, but for some reason, there was a 1-week gap in the middle. But everything that was written, every day's record, was about me. October 10, 2024. Today was the welcome party. I made a special trip to the school to watch my wife's performance. My wife's waist is so soft, her skin so fair. The dance is so captivating. It feels like it's dancing right in the depths of my heart. I just want to hide my wife away, so she dances only for me. I originally planned to take things step by step, but I can't stand the way other men look at my wife. I want to make her mine before any other man dares to dream of taking her from me. I confessed my feelings tonight, but I ended up scaring my wife away. I couldn't help but laugh through my tears at this point. Who confesses like that? Which girl wouldn't be scared off? I calmed myself down and flipped straight to the last page. August 18, 2036. Today is my 30th birthday, and I brought up marriage without much hope. My wife remained silent, and I laughed to break the awkwardness. You've been with me for 12 years, and now we've finally reached the last page. Are you also hinting that it's time for all this to end? Just now, after confirming that my wife had fallen asleep in my arms, I sent a message to Fong Yu. I've been considering euthanasia for a long time, and I think it's time. Keeping my wife by my side for these 7 years of companionship, I should be content. I want to set my wife free, and also set myself free. Goodbye, my love, Mu Bai. In the next life, when you meet me, can you not be afraid of me and love me? At this moment, scenes from Mu Bai's 30th birthday keep flashing through my mind. Some details I had overlooked are gradually being awakened by memory. Unable to control the emotions inside any longer, I broke down and wept bitterly. The next day, I slowly cleaned the house filled with memories of the two of us. My heart kept sinking. When I left, I only took my personal belongings. Mu Bai's things were still left here. But now, aside from the expensive bags, clothes, and jewelry that Mu Bai bought for me and I didn't take away, there's not a single trace of the life we once shared. All the things we used together, as well as Mu Bai's personal belongings, are completely gone. Did Mu Bai specifically arrange for someone to clear them out? Was it Fong Yu again? Otherwise, How would the diary end up with him? Did he also read the contents of the diary? Refusing to even meet face to face, is he standing up for Mubai? I can't believe it. Mubai left so cleanly, completely vanishing from my world. I lay on the big bed where the two of us had slept in each other's arms for 7 years, silently shedding tears. When the tears ran dry, I continued to hole up in the house, finishing reading this diary that had been written sporadically over 12 years. So it turns out that when Yen Corporation had financial issues, the reason Yen Chen left me was that he voluntarily sought a deal with you. Not that you forced him. Why is it like this? Then all these years of hatred I've harbored, how absurd. A week later, I arrived in Switzerland. After receiving the documents confirming Mubai's death, I stood by the sea and laughed soundlessly. Mubai. You did this on purpose, didn't you? You're punishing me by disappearing without even saying goodbye. Mubai. I'm coming to find you. In the next life. Don't fall in love with someone as slow and cowardly as me again. In the churning waves. The moment my consciousness was completely swallowed, I regretted it. Mubai. Forget what I just said. If we meet again, will you love me one more time? I promise I will love you properly. I looked at our newly issued red marriage certificate booklet, but before I could open it, Mubai took it from me. Be good. Something this precious should stay with your husband. I stared at the collar he had deliberately loosened for the photo, exposing the suggestive bite mark I had left on his collarbone in the car. Remembering the photographer's knowing smile just now, my cheeks flushed as I glared at Mubai, deliberately lowering his voice to pick a quarrel. Button up your shirt properly. If anyone else sees you like this and I lose face, I won't want you anymore. Mubai solemnly placed the marriage certificate in his suit pocket and buttoned his shirt one button at a time. He coaxed and begged for forgiveness at the same time. Honey, this is the first time you've left a hickey on me. I want to keep it as a permanent souvenir. At that moment, I didn't think much of it. If I had known what would happen soon after, I would have snatched the marriage certificate and kept it under my own control, never letting it fall into Mubai's hands. As soon as I got into the car, Mubai couldn't wait to raise the middle partition and hugged me, asking for a kiss. Mumu, be good, give me a kiss. Okay. I love being kissed by my wife. Listening to his seductive voice, I deliberately breathed softly into his ear. I raised my hand and caressed the man's enchanting face. From his eyebrows to his eyes, then back to the bridge of his high nose, finally lingering on his thin lips, gently caressing them. Mubai lifted his seductive eyes and gently nibbled the fingertip resting against his lips, sending a shiver through my entire body. Mubai gazed at me with damp, alluring eyes and leaned closer like a dangerously seductive fox. I let out a soft laugh. Mubai, the way you look is absolutely deadly. Don't let any other woman see you like this. Mubai affectionately brushed his thin lips against the place he desired, his voice carrying a hint of alluring hoarseness. Only for my wife to see. Wife, kiss me quickly. I parted my red lips and, as he wished, kissed the man's thin lips. I could feel the strong, powerful muscles of the man's legs beneath my hips. Unlike the frail, withered state of his previous life, I secretly rejoiced. How wonderful, to have returned to before I ruined everything and caused Mubai to lose his legs. Mubai, my husband, I will love you well, forever. Mubai suddenly opened his deep, peach blossom eyes, tears quickly gathering in them. Wife, don't lie to me. I can't bear it. I reverently kissed away the tears that had yet to fall, speaking each word deliberately. I, Mubai, will love Mubai forever, never forsaking him for all eternity. Mubai kissed me uncontrollably, his voice trembling. Mubai loves Mubai, forever, until the end of life. The next day, I woke up from a night of torment, my whole body aching. I glanced at the culprit beside me, raised my fair calf, and kicked toward the man's sturdy leg. Having succeeded, a vengeful smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Before I could pull back, my fair calf was caught by the man's warm, large hand and placed onto his lean, powerful waist. This awkward position reminded me of indescribable scenes, so I could only mutter softly, without any real threat, "You insatiable bastard." Let go. Someone who was just kicked awake, quick-eyed and swift-handed, kissed the incessantly chattering red lips. Wife. One more time. I was stirred by the man's just woken, hoarse voice, my body trembling slightly, like a startled little rabbit, tightly nestled in Mu-Bai's arms. Can't do it again. Hearing this, Mu-Bai kissed my reddened brows and eyes with tenderness. There's plenty of time ahead. Wife. After 5 years of pent-up desire finally fulfilled, it's hard not to lose control. You've worked hard. My wife. I was enjoying someone's massage service, yet still let out a dissatisfied hum. This drew a hearty laugh from the man above me. Only after a round of sweet talk and a relaxing massage from the man did I finally give him a pleasant expression. The me from my past life would have found this hard to imagine. One day, I will get along with Mu-Bai so harmoniously. Thinking of my past life, a wave of bitterness uncontrollably spread through my heart. I hugged Mu-Bai with a pang of heartache. Mu-Bai simply thought I was shy, stopped what he was doing, and remained still, letting me hold him. Only when the person in his arms breathed steadily and fell asleep again did Mu-Bai get up and leave the bed. I woke up again, lured by waves of enticing aromas. Mu-Bai scooped me up as I just opened my eyes, my consciousness not yet fully returned. Honey, you must be hungry. I made a delicious breakfast. Let me feed you. Held in his arms, I was propped up against the soft cushion behind me, and he slipped a silk nightgown over me. I peacefully enjoyed the man's service, watching Mu-Bai, who was only wearing a loose pair of white sleep pants. He fed me bit by bit. Watching the 8-pack abs that kept shifting with the man's movements was truly a feast for the eyes. Mu-Bai focused entirely on me, feeding me with patient care. Honey, I've asked Foam you to manage the company for half a month. Let's go to the Maldives for our honeymoon. I furrowed my brows slightly, ignored him, and continued eating the food being fed to me. In my past life, I had always loved the meals Mu-Bai cooked, but after Mu-Bai could no longer stand, I never got to eat them again. That's why I savored every bite today. I really missed this taste. Mu-Bai, seeing that I was ignoring him, continued to play the victim. Other people get honeymoons when they get married, so I should have one too. Besides, for the sake of this company, we've been working non-stop since our senior year of college until now. When everything is on track, we haven't taken a single vacation in 2 years. Honey, if you keep ignoring me, I'm going to throw a tantrum. Hearing this, I gave him a look that said, go ahead, show me, and Mu-Bai immediately backed down. Fine. If he had to pull out his big move, then he wouldn't hold back. Mu-Bai's eyes reddened as he continued feeding me in silence. Just as his wife finished the last bite of rice, the tears he had been holding back for so long spilled over, perfectly timed to the moment. Seeing this, I indeed hugged his handsome face with concern, gently kissing him to soothe him. Honey, be good, don't cry. I didn't say I wouldn't go. Let Foam you take on some extra work. Let him know his money isn't earned for nothing. Let him take the fall. After all, that villain Foam you knew all along in the past life and deliberately helped me cover up Mu-Bai's euthanasia plan. If I had discovered it earlier, known it sooner in my past life, perhaps everything would have been different. Fortunately, I still have a chance to start over. That's right. My wife is the one who cares for me the most and treats me best. Mu-Bai secretly felt pleased, having perfectly found a way to handle his wife. Ever since I woke up in his arms yesterday, he discovered that I can't stand seeing him cry. As soon as he starts crying, I immediately feel heartbroken and rush to comfort him. If that man knew that this trick to control his wife was earned through his death in a past life, I wonder if he'd still be so smug. The author smirks. Before the two could get any more affectionate, Mu-Bai's phone rang at an inopportune moment. I nudged him to go answer the call. Mu-Bai refused to let go, continuing to cling to his beloved wife and act spoiled. Finally, after the phone rang 5 times, I reluctantly pushed him away and signaled for him to answer it. The man got up to grab the phone with a face full of anger. Damn it, you'd better have a real emergency. Seeing the caller ID on the phone screen, phone you. That man's face turned even darker. Could this guy really not handle it? He was starting to question his own judgment in choosing people. He, the CEO, had only let go for one day, and the acting CEO he had selected was frantically calling him early in the morning. Bai discontentedly turned up the volume, tossed his phone back onto the bed, and continued to hold his soft, fragrant wife tightly. Just as he hugged his wife tightly, Feng Yu's furious voice came through the phone. Bai, you'd better change your Weibo password back right now and hide the latest post you personally wrote, or I'll withdraw my investment and run off. It's better than following you and making a fool of ourselves. I looked at the man in front of me with confusion. What had he done on Weibo that could push Feng Yu, who was always calm, never cursed, and had a good temper, to this point? Since the phone was still on a call, I couldn't ask out loud. I wanted to check my own phone, only to find it had long run out of battery and shut down. Just for this. I'm not changing it. That's my personal account, and I've already shown restraint. I didn't even repost it through the company's official Weibo account. Just handle the public relations properly and stay out of my personal business. As Bai finished speaking, the beep-beep sound of the phone being hung up followed. Bai looked at me with a face full of grievance and complained. Honey, Feng Yu is bullying me. I coaxed him while signaling that my phone was out of battery, and I plugged it in to charge. That man, quite pleased, fetched the charging cable and plugged in my phone. I'm really curious about what Bai did to make Feng Yu so angry. The moment I plugged it in, I couldn't wait to turn it on. As soon as it booted up, I saw a flood of messages on WeChat. The latest message was from Feng Yu, who had just hung up in frustration. Moo, aren't you going to rein Bai in? Are you really going to let him keep acting like this? Next came 2 screenshots of Bai's Weibo and moments. The exact same photo. The exact same caption. The photo naturally had personal information blurred out, 2 freshly taken marriage certificate photos. Still warm from yesterday. Caption. #officially her husband. I took a look, and the wording was a bit inappropriate, which could easily lead to misunderstandings. But it shouldn't have made Feng Yu that angry. Out of curiosity, I logged into Bai's Weibo to check the comments under that post. The first thing I saw was a top comment with the most likes and a high number of replies. Congratulations, Mr. Mu. Could you tell us more about how you finally won her over? Purely out of curiosity. Curiosity +1. Curiosity +1. Immediately after, the second most popular comment almost made me drop my phone onto the bed. Has no one noticed the detail in the photo? Look at Mr. Mu's collarbone. I'd better not say more. He clearly wants everyone to notice. The reply thread exploded within minutes. Seriously, zoom in. He's practically begging everyone to notice that hickey. He didn't even zoom in or post a separate close-up. For him, that practically counts as restraint. How do you know there isn't? Maybe the photos on the phone are even more exciting than this. Aw, Mom. I finally got to eat something good today. I know this woman. She's the product director at Mr. Mu's company, and the compact white car I bought this year was developed under her leadership. She's a real powerhouse. Mr. Mu certainly knows how to keep talent close. Mr. Mu, watch your wording. People might think you're a kept man who rose through the ranks because of her. We already know you're the one hopelessly devoted to her. You don't have to make it so obvious. Ignore him. Don't give him the satisfaction. Ignore him. Don't give him the satisfaction. I watched the comments section buzzing with excitement and felt very relieved that I hadn't opened a Weibo account. Otherwise, knowing Bai as I do, that guy would definitely at me and drag me into the embarrassment along with him. But it's almost the same now. The whole company is embarrassing itself along with him. Bai, a rising star in the intelligent technology industry, had turned Bai Intelligent Technology into one of the country's leading companies in only 2 years. It's hard not to be noticed and well-known. Its newest robot, Xiaobai, became a commercial sensation immediately after launch. It once again rapidly boosted the visibility of the company, Bai, and myself. It was also widely known that Bai Intelligent Technology had the backing of the Mu Group. Bai was the only son of the Mu Group's chairman. With the Mu Group's investment and support, Bai expanded from 100 employees to tens of thousands. Thinking about Grandpa Mu gives me a headache. given how much he dotes on Mubai. I'm afraid that once the two of them return from their trip, they'll be dragged into preparing for a tedious wedding. In my past life, the old man knew that Mubai had a car accident while saving me, nearly losing his life on the spot. He hated me so much, yet for Mubai's sake, he was able to forgive me and accept me. It can be seen how important Mubai is in Old Master Mu's heart. Unfortunately, a few years later, Old Master Mu still passed away due to health reasons. He and the family doctor had always been aware of his physical condition. They just kept it from Mubai all along, not wanting to add to his worries and sorrow. I was a bit torn about whether to tell Mubai in advance so he could mentally prepare. Forget it, I'll just accompany him more often to visit Grandpa Mu at the Mu family's old residence. Or maybe give the old man a grandchild as soon as possible. If the old man finds a new focus, would he be able to hold on for a few more years? Just as my thoughts began to wander, Mubai's physical reaction pulled me back to reality. I glared fiercely at the guilty man beside me. He had come over and wrapped his arms around me just as I logged into Weibo. Mubai must have read every word of the comments I had just seen. Mubai was bare-chested, burying his head in the crook of my neck. As long as I can't see it, it's not directed at him. He also took the chance to shift his body backward, avoiding stirring things up at a time like this, lest his wife refuse to hold him. I helplessly messaged Phone You. Sorry for the trouble. Please coordinate with the PR department. The post has already been up for hours, and deleting it now would only send everyone flooding to the company's official Weibo account. I'll take control of his account and make sure he doesn't post anything reckless again. Thanks for handling this. Phone You. Immediately after, I received a voice message from Phone You, his voice tinged with exhaustion and helplessness. Mumu, I've just worked out a response with the PR department. We'll post it through Robot Xiaobai's account, and the company's official Weibo account will repost it. Then use Mubai's account to share it as well. For the next 2 weeks, Mumu, keep your husband under control. And tell him this for me. Stop creating more trouble. I already have enough work. If he keeps this up, I'll walk away and let his plans collapse. I chuckled and patted the large hand wandering over my waist. Look at the trouble you've caused. Phone You is so angry he can barely bring himself to say your name. Then something Phone You had said caught my attention. I turned and studied Mubai's face. Plans? What are you plotting now? Upon hearing this, Mubai immediately defended himself. Mumu, my dear, don't listen to his divisive words. You know, he's always been jealous of my talent, jealous that I have such a capable assistant like you. Back then, he even tried to lure you away from me to start a new venture. He's not a good person. Don't listen to him. I let out a soft laugh. This guy's petty-minded habit was acting up again. A year ago, when the two of them had a disagreement over their research direction, Phone You's angry remark during their argument had stuck with him until now. One has to admit that Mubai's persistence at the time was right. That decision was what eventually allowed Mubai to flourish and become the company it was today. At that moment, a new message came through on the phone. An account I followed closely, Robot Xiaobai, had just posted an update. The post included a photo of me smiling as I held Xiaobai's first successful prototype, followed by Mubai's official wedding announcement. Caption: #I'm still mom's favorite. Dad may have finally become mom's official #1 and whisked her away for 2 weeks, but once she comes back, I'll still be her favorite. At Mubai. A moment later, Mubai Intelligent Technologies' official Weibo account reposted it with a caption. #On his first day as mom's official #1, Mr. Mu pushed Xiaobai aside and whisked Xiaobai's mom away. Poor Xiaobai. Everyone at Mubai promises that while your mom is gone for the next 2 weeks, you'll be our favorite. At Mubai I found these 2 posts amusing and reposted the official account's post with a caption. #Take good care of my son. Do a good job, and I'll double everyone's year-end bonus. After posting it, I glanced sideways at Mubai. Mr. Mu, you won't blame me for making that decision on my own, will you? Mubai nuzzled my neck affectionately. How would I dare? My wife has spoken, even if it were tripled. I wouldn't dare breathe a word of complaint, let alone since we can afford it. I smiled. I knew my husband wasn't that stingy. Everyone worked overtime to get Xiaobai ready for launch. Without them, how could you have built a company worth tens of billions so quickly? Yes, yes, yes. My wife is absolutely right. I was actually planning to announce at the New Year's party that everyone's salary would be raised by 30%. I immediately stopped him. Don't announce it yet, keep the raise as a surprise. Be generous. I promise the new Xiaobai 2.0 will double your investment within a month of next year's launch. 2 months at most. Someone stared at a certain spot with ill intent. Then I'll need my wife to help me solve this little problem first. And I'll agree. Before I could respond, Mu Bai started nibbling on my neck, leaving no room for refusal. This man had just gotten a taste of sweetness and simply couldn't control himself, nor did he want to. Yet, having been reborn, I am still willing to spoil him and let him have his way. The next day, on the day of departure, the two of us were in a cold war. To be precise, it was Mu Bai's unilateral cold war, and I couldn't care less. This time, I don't plan to indulge him. If I don't even have the freedom to dress like this, he'll end up controlling everything in the future. When asked the reason, it was so trivial it was laughable. All because I wore a one-shoulder gown that exposed one shoulder. Mu Bai insisted on pulling the fabric higher to cover me. I thought it looked ugly and didn't want to, so I quietly adjusted it back to how it was. That's why someone got angry. On the way to the airport, they let me hold their hand and lean on them to sleep, but refused to speak on their own. I also enjoyed a rare moment of peace and deliberately chose not to comfort him. Let's see how long he can hold out. The driver dropped the two of us off at the airport. Mu Bai voluntarily pulled the 2 large suitcases and followed behind me. I complained that the check-in counter was too far, so I stood there waiting for Mu Bai to come closer, plopped down on my suitcase, and said with a smile, "Thanks for the hard work, hubby." Mu Bai was almost amused despite his anger. Couldn't he tell he was upset? Not only had I refused to comfort him, I kept ordering him around. He had seriously underestimated his dear wife. I watched the man's ever-changing expression with amusement. "You brought this on yourself yesterday. If you don't touch me for half a month, I'll have plenty of energy to walk on my own every day." Mu Bai's cold expression gradually cracked. He had never known before that his wife could be so shameless. But after all, it concerned their future happiness, so he could only let out a soft, resigned snort as a response. The two of them arrived at the VIP lounge. As soon as they entered, Mu Bai fiercely bit down on my collarbone. "Wife, I shouldn't have been so soft-hearted with you." In the end, Mu Bai looked at his handiwork with satisfaction, a patch of red marks. Anyone with eyes could tell how those marks had come about. This time, I let Mu Bai pull the dress higher around my shoulders. His tone was smug. "Wife, you still look best dressed like this. My wife is the most beautiful." I cast a dissatisfied sidelong glance at him. Just as I was about to teach this man a lesson, my consciousness suddenly faded away. I woke on a hospital bed to Mu Bai's voice, thick with worry and relief. "Mumu, you're finally awake. The doctor said you fainted from extreme stress and anxiety. You need to rest for a few days. Once you recover, we can go on our honeymoon. All right?" I looked at his familiar face and hugged him tightly. "All right, Mu Bai. I was so afraid our marriage had only been a dream. Thank goodness you're really here."